Italy Sierra 0 Kilo November Zulu. India Sierra 0 Kilo November Zulu. CQDX CQ20 beaming for Asia. Looking for Pacific area. Italy Sierra 0 Kilo November Zulu. India Sierra 0 Kilo November Zulu. Standing by.
Hello everyone. I hope you can hear me alright after yesterday's failed live stream where I wanted to do the exact same thing, but due to, well, let's call it laziness, I positioned the antenna inside and that didn't work all too well, especially since I located it close to the server rack, which was full of EMI issues. So just to recap, it's also in the live stream description, I'm just browsing around the amateur radio bands using my nRSP-ST software-defined receiver, which is a network-capable device. But what's even more interesting is the device is shared publicly. The link's in the video description. You can just use you can use the browser, or you can use SDRConnect installed locally and use this as a remote virtual receiver. So, in other words, you don't have to listen to what I'm tuning in. You can tune around the bands on your own. Just follow the link in the description and have fun. If there are any requests for different bands or different things to listen to, let me know. And what would be really fun, if there are some of you that have transmit capabilities and we can do kind of like a two-way communication thing where I talk through the stream and you talk over the bands, that would be extremely cool, but I should have probably announced that idea beforehand. Like I said, if you click the link in the video description, you get direct access to this software-defined receiver. And you can use, well, within the band range that I have selected, you can listen to whatever you like. This is technically possible with a smartphone, although I can't recommend it. This is something that's best done on an actual PC. Also, I would really appreciate it if somebody would let me know in the comments what the audio sounds like. According to the VU meter, I should be well above the SDR's audio. But your ears are probably better indicators than the VU meters here. It's always nice when they disappear exact. There we go. Let's stay on that frequency for a moment and just see what's going on. Like I said, I do take requests, so if you have any frequencies that you would like to listen to, legal ones, I must stress, then go for it, or just connect to the SDR yourself, which I see one person actually is. 2 connected users, I'm one of them, so somebody else is currently connected. By the way, only one person has control at the same time over the selected captured frequency range. You can tune around freely within that range. And I currently have control, so if there's any requests for switching to a different band, just let me know. There are some really strong stations here. Just trying to find ones that are in English, obviously. And then tune them in accurately. Like earlier, there was really not a whole lot going on 20 meters. But now it's just packed. But to be fair, the sun's finally setting. I look outside the window. It's fairly dark, so obviously, well, I mean, 20 meter isn't that affected by it. But I guess it's more that people are more bored and have more pastime the later it gets, which is cool. It's always interesting when they switch languages because they are talking to a native of their own country. Again, to everyone watching, if somebody would let me know what the audio quality is like, I try to make sure that you can listen to the SDR as well as hear me well, and according to the VU meters, that's working very well. And I did a vertical live stream earlier where I had the same settings, and after some adjusting that worked just fine. Let's see what else we can find. There's still at least one other person connected. By the way, if you want to take the time to install SDRConnect, which is this software that I'm using down here, you can do that and then use the nRSP-ST as a remote device. For that, you would click here, Remote Devices, and just enter the settings as shown here. It's intranet.balticlab.com is the host name. The name up here doesn't matter, just pick anything you want. And everything else is default, and there is no username and no password. At least not yet. There will be. In the future it will be members only, but right now it is completely public. For members, I will make this thing available basically indefinitely in the future. It's just to offset some of the cost and mostly time it takes to get this thing up. Memberships right now are just, excuse me, 99 cents a month, so definitely worth it. But right now it's open to the public, so just add your remote device here. And then if you weren't connected, you would see the nRSPs that are available up here. It would show the remote device, and then you can just control it locally as if you were in the same network. In case you don't know where I'm from Germany, so accordingly that's the location of the SDR. It is currently on the roof in an industrial area. It's a small mini whip antenna. It's surprisingly powerful for its size. They're really crazy antennas. I had to actually dial the gain down earlier because else the nRSP was complaining about being overloaded. And again, if you happen to be an amateur radio operator and you do have an HF rig, let me know, and maybe we can get some sort of two-way communication going. Hey Jared, you're back. Awesome, welcome back. Have you gotten some time of playing around with the device between the streams? Awesome. Yeah, it's a really cool device. Usually you need like a Raspberry Pi or some other computer to make remote access to your SDR happen. And the special thing about this device is you just plug it into the network and then you can share it. You can even password protect it, which is what I'm gonna do with my members. And well, yeah, you can either just share it with yourself or share it publicly. And it's really just plug and play. Supply power to it, plug it into the network, enable port forwarding, and if you have to, I don't have to, but other people might have to set up dynamic DNS or something like that. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I imagine NYC is probably very interesting if you're listening in the higher frequency ranges, VHF and up. There's going to be lots of local traffic that's quite interesting to intercept and listen to, but HF wise, I would imagine that it's probably a garbage dump. Yeah, I always wonder how people do it living in the big cities, and trying to operate on HF must be a nightmare. Are you an amateur radio operator, Jared? That's, by the way, the reason why I'm very glad that I have this location. Where my office is located, this is a huge space, and it's an industrial area, and around this time of the day, there's usually nobody here except me. It's extremely silent RF-wise, if you're not parking the antenna right next to the server rack, of course, but on the roof it's as quiet as it gets. Open view to the east and to the north. Very small obstruction to the south. The antenna is probably 30 meters above ground level. There's excellent grounding in the building. It's really every shortwave listener's or amateur radio operator's dream, so to speak. No, just a nerd? What do you mean, just a nerd? And of course, I said this earlier, I'm now limiting myself to the amateur radio bands because in Germany there's very strict laws and regulations on what you're allowed to listen to. And if you listen to things you're not supposed to listen to, then that's a felony. And then if you share the stuff that you're not supposed to listen to, that's a second felony. So if I show anything outside of the amateur radio bands that is not intended for my ears, I would be committing at least 2 felonies at once. And so that would leave broadcast stations, but they will create copyright issues with YouTube quite quickly. So yeah, I'm kind of forced to stay within the amateur radio bands. But anyone playing along at home is of course free to roam around wherever. And I don't even know what the legality of it is. In Germany it's illegal to do so. The SDR is located in Germany, but in the United States it's legal to listen to pretty much anything that you can listen to. I don't know if or how that changes anything, nor do I care, because I don't see what you guys are doing. And even if, it's not that I would share that with anyone. Have fun and do whatever you want. I think he said he's near Oslo. Certainly sounds like the best frequency to just stay on for a while. Jared, is that you, the second user, still sitting on there? I think I heard that Barcelona conversation earlier too, and then I heard Tenerife. I heard a British station. It kind of picked up around 8 p.m. They are coming in very strong.
Whiskey Kilo. So it's my mistake anyway. Working the last 10 years, I'm checking QRZ.com, looking QRZ.com. No problem. To apologize, I've got to change your call. Yeah, 73, my mistake. CQ1 EHI calling CQ20,
Yeah, and Ukraine is also quite active on shortwave bands. I hear them quite a bit. Unfortunately, they usually speak in a language I don't understand. Russians come through all the time as well. And Germans, at around this time, you can hear them on 80 meters very well. It's, it sounds like the local traffic on amateur radio FM repeaters in the United States at certain times. It's just 4 hours just talking about everything and nothing. I just noticed that I'm actually also connected externally, meaning using the public IP instead of just connecting locally, but oh well. There's a pretty good core switch at that access point, so it would even be able to handle the maximum 10 connections. I have no doubt about that.
You're booming today, your condition is quite good anyway. Lima Alpha 8, Zulu ETV Alpha, Charlie Tango 1, Echo Hotel India Marcos. Go ahead, John.
So Jared, are you just connected through the web interface, or did you install SDRConnect in the meantime? SDRConnect is definitely, I mean, it looks the same, but it's definitely the better way of accessing the remote device. Website, yeah, okay. Allegedly, there's going to be an app soon from SDR Play. Well, I don't want to say soon, but they are in the process of developing an app. And I guess the timeline is whenever they get there, they get there. Ah, you're on the Mac. Okay, yeah. I don't know about that. I don't know if there's a Mac version. Well, if you didn't find it, probably not. But like I said, I mean, the web interface is pretty much, it looks the same. Yeah, he isn't lying. Conditions are very good today. Even on much higher bands. ADSB, for instance, which is around 1090 megahertz. It's where aircraft report their positions and stuff like that. Today I made receptions from way over 300 miles away. I guess the sun is quite active at the moment. Good evening, Salad. Well, that's a nice username. Although the spelling is German, where are you from? Someone is selling the app for 99 bucks? No. I mean, I believe that they are, but they shouldn't be. I gotta research that when I'm done with the stream. Well, yeah, Zalat, that was kinda obvious. You're right. It took a second. Well, actually it took longer than a second. Are you an amateur radio operator? Okay, 2 other people connected. Excellent. Okay, Jared, now I gotta check. Let me see. Although I would expect it to be free. Okay, Zalat, if you're a ham, are you in the mood of hopping on HF, if you can right now, and see if we can get some sort of two-way communication going? I'm honestly not sure what the legality of that is if I talk through the live stream and you talk on HF, but at least you could give a call out and hear yourself. Depends on where you're located in Germany. I'm pretty sure we can get something going. We could hop on 80 meter, no problem. If you're up for it, if not, that's fine too. Yes, Transmission 1 SDR, it is very active. It wasn't until about 8 p.m. local time. I did a live stream earlier and I was boring everyone to tears, and then all of a sudden it picked up. And Jared, I just checked the App Store and I didn't see anything. And just again, for everyone who just joined or didn't read the description, you are free to access the SDR over the internet, either through the web browser, the links in the stream description, or you can just set it up as a remote device in SDRConnect if you install it. Yes, I will in a second, Jared. Zalat says, can try, but my antenna is hanging really low in a tree currently. Where are you located? That might be the more important question, but we can try in a second. I mean, feel free to give me a frequency, and then we'll give it a try. And yes, Jared, the connection settings, so if you want to set up this device for remote access, in SDRConnect you would click on Remote Devices. Then all this would of course not be there if you have a fresh install. The name up here doesn't matter. Actually, let me probably show that one. Just pick any name. The IP address / host name is intranet.balticlab.com. And everything down here is default, so it'll already be populated. There's no user, no password, port 50,000. And if you hit test connection, it'll let you know that it's happy. When you're done with that, if you wouldn't already be connected, it will refresh and show this SDR, whatever you named it. And then there's 2 modes. Please use the compact mode, which is, as opposed to full IQ, it doesn't have that much bandwidth usage. Okay, Zalat is 80 kilometers south of Stuttgart and willing to try if we can get some sort of two-way communications. Now, I imagine there's gonna be a lot of latency, but with proper discipline and patience, we can probably get something going. So, Zalat, I would suggest pick a band, pick a frequency. I mean, we can try 20 meters. it's, I guess, dark enough that 80 meters might be the better alternative. So just let me know where you want to meet. And I don't know why the SDR... Oh, I got auto disconnected due to inactivity. And that's one thing. But now I can show the connection process. So if you're not connected, then your SDRs will show up here in this drop-down menu. So they are both the same. I just set the same one up twice. You would just choose compact, click on there, hit play. Then if you're the one in control, what you want to make sure is that antenna C is actually the one selected, which it is. And right now somebody else has control, which is fine. I forgot the frequency of the guy we were listening to. Well, let's just take him. What was I about to say? I forgot. Completely forgot what I was about to say. Oh yeah, just one person is in control of the spectrum that the SDR is sampling. And I don't know who is in control right now, but somebody is in control, probably Jared. And if he would switch around frequencies, we can tune freely in that general proximity of the entire captured bandwidth, but we're unable to switch outside of that. Okay, Jared says it's not him, and that's fine. Like I said, let somebody else have control. That's fun too. If they would now change out of this captured spectrum that we're looking at, the frequency up here would change also. We'll be able to see that. Jared is no longer playing, but you've played the longest from everyone so far. Which is good, because that's what it's here for. The cool thing about this device is it has 3 different inputs. One even has a bias T. Due to the nature it is powered with 5 volts and some drop, it only provides 4.7 volts, but the mini whip still works for that, as I've shown in the review video. So I'm thinking about setting it up on the roof, like put the SDR up there to remove cable attenuation, and then have a shortwave antenna, which is going to be the mini whip antenna, then have a broadband antenna from 25 megahertz to 1300 megahertz. And then on the third input, I want to combine an LNB for the Q100 satellite, as well as an Inmarsat antenna for satellite communications. And if the inputs aren't enough for what I intend to do, then I will probably use the bias T output. It's kind of like a layer switch. Put RF switches in and have an upper 3 layer and a lower 3 layer. Should be quite interesting, but that's going to be a little bit of time until I start implementing that. I'll probably do it step by step. And now, by the way, we just saw that whoever is in control changed the frequency. So we have to follow along whatever band they switched into, whatever they want down here. How far can we go? Okay, they wanted to go to 80. No, I can't go higher. I should change to lower sideband, obviously. There we go. There we have some Germans. Yeah, Salat says he can't even see his tuning CW signal. We're trying to see if we can get some sort of two-way communication going, but looks like that's not gonna work. Thanks for trying anyway. So Jared asks, is there a less expensive version of this? That's the thing. The nRSP-ST has a pretty steep price tag of $500 US plus tax. It's at least the recommended sales price. And obviously that's quite a bit of money for just trying, for just experimenting. There is the, forgot the name, no. It's also from SDR Play and it's something with DX, and I can't remember. It's sitting right there on the shelf, but my eyesight isn't good enough. RSP-DX, that could be it. RSP-DX. It also has 3 inputs, but it doesn't have network access. It's USB only. But you can make it network capable by attaching it to a Raspberry Pi. So I guess an RSP-DX plus Raspberry Pi or any other remote computer type is going to be a whole lot cheaper than buying the nRSP-ST. And it's going to be just as good. I'm actually pretty certain that the hardware on the RF side is pretty much the same thing on both of them. I guess the price tag is just what you pay for convenience. It's of course a whole lot more convenient to just plug it in and get going than having to set up your own Raspberry Pi. But it's pretty much what's going to be inside the case anyway. There should be an auto upper sideband, lower sideband switch. I'm actually going to suggest that to SDR Play. Yeah, Salat has no luck reaching us, and yeah, that would also be an interesting variant SDR to SDR connection. But no, let's not do that. Oh, that would be an interesting two-way stream for sure. Yeah, it's really good conditions. He got a point, and I got control back. Yay. Jared asks, if I get the RSP, can I configure it at my house and then ship it to a friend in the middle of the USA and it will work immediately? Yes, you can. Kinda. Well, yes, you can, but there's some prerequisites that are required, and that is port forwarding. So whatever friend you send it to will need to enable port forwarding from their router to the nRSP-ST. So you can't just send it anywhere. You're going to have to send it somewhere where you have that capability, and everyone has that capability, and if it's a friend, they're probably going to do it for you. But the nRSP, its access modes, you can even configure the Wi-Fi beforehand if you want to use Wi-Fi. I strongly recommend against it, but you can configure all that using the nRSP administrator, ship it to your friend, and assuming that they're gonna enable port forwarding for you, you're good to go. That would be like the ultimate thing if they enable, but I think this is gonna be too heavy for the little computer inside. That would be like the option to install VPN or something like that, so that you don't have to bother with port forwarding. You can really just connect it anywhere. I mean, that would be awesome. Well, yeah, okay, so Jared asked now, could I configure it to connect to my local VPN and then not even deal with port forwarding on their end? Unfortunately, no. That would also be a nice idea for them to do, but I don't think the hardware is going to be able to handle it. Now, of course, you can always buy a small VPN router with it. Like if you... Do I have one sitting around? Yeah, I have these Microtech devices, which you could then just... I mean, there's simpler variants for that. There's these tiny switches that connect to the VPN and then provide that VPN access on their ports. You could do that. And then you could just literally ship it anywhere or bring it to a hotel room with you, or even mobile access. I mean, I don't know how I have the quality of service set right now, but it's quite possible that currently everyone that is remotely controlling the device is actually doing that through the mobile network. Yes, like those travel routers. Yes, they are awesome. And that would work if you send that to a friend, absolutely. And I've used this thing with mobile connection before. As a matter of fact, mobile is like the fourth fallback for this internet connection. There's 2 times fiber and 1 times 5G mobile, and they are all in a multi-WAN core switch. And if all that fails, which sometimes happens, but not because it's internet failure, but because somebody messes with the switch or unplugs it or power outage, then my backup to that is also a mobile connection, and it works just fine. Ah, Salat has the RSP2. That's the RSP-DX version 2, or is that like the one port RSP version 2? I'm not honestly familiar with all of the variants that there are. The Kiwi SDR is also nice. NN200D, Flex 5K, way too many other radios, yeah. Why did I go for the nRSP-ST exactly? Well, convenience. Like, I am an impatient and... Can I call myself lazy? Sure I can. I can always sue myself if I don't like that label. So just being able to put it on a shelf, plug it in, be done with it, that's the biggest convenience that I could possibly have, so that's the reason. I do have a Raspberry Pi on the roof for like ADSB reception, and what else do I have? AIS, ADSB, and VHF and up. And it was just so much setup. Yes, it really isn't that much. I'm just really complaining on a high level. But with the nRSP, just plug it in and be done with it. That's really my sales argument for it. And that's really the only reason to buy that device specifically, because else you would be with the RSP DX would be the better choice for you if you like this tinkering around and setting things up yourself. You know, there's no reason why you wouldn't buy one of those and hook it up to a Raspberry Pi and save like $200 or more in the process. Am I already streaming for 40 minutes? That's crazy. Time flies by during a live stream, but I guess that's a good thing, right? And I have mentioned that in the beginning, but I'll mention it again. Currently, the nRSP-ST is shared publicly with everyone, and I will probably leave it up for a few hours after the stream has concluded. After that, it will be username and password protected and will be for members only. So the members of my channel will have a post with the login information, the port information. I'm going to change everything that we're using right now, and will be able to use it whenever they want to. Channel membership is currently just 99 cents a month, and for creators like me, it's always a big help to offset some of the cost. And additionally, you get the added benefit of getting most videos that I release, except reviews, about a week before everyone else. And the cool thing is, since you get them a week earlier, you may be that one person that spots a mistake, because trust me, there's plenty of mistakes in my videos, and you can correct it and get proper credit in the actual release version of that video. And I frequently do giveaways, and circling back to that laziness argument from earlier, most of the time that giveaway is money. Like, I put some quizzes in there and then the winner gets $5. Haven't done that in a while, but I did for a while. I need to pick that back up. Somebody's tuning up there. Ouch. Salad says ST apply RSP2, use it with OpenWebRx on Raspberry Pi for VHF and UHF, and the Kiwi for HF. Kiwi allows full HF spectrum reception. Got reported to police for offering the OpenWebRx with 2 wide receive options. Yeah, that goes back to... Seriously, if I tell my American friends about that, they look at me like I'm crazy. Which may be accurate, but more to the legal argument, in Germany it is a felony to listen to things that you're not supposed to listen to, and the things that you're not supposed to listen to is anything that's not directly directed at you or amateur radio communication. So you listen to anything else, and be it just air traffic communications, which is no critical information at all, you are committing a felony. And if you're sharing this information with anyone else, then that's the second felony. It's insane. I don't know why that law exists. Well, I guess they're gonna claim privacy reasons. But it's a felony, not a misdemeanor. It's a big and solid felony to listen to air traffic control or anything that's analog. So, since you say you got reported to the police for sharing it with the public, were there any consequences from it? I mean, you were just providing access. What people do with it is up to them. And what I would find is even more interesting, I should probably ask my lawyer about that. If you're sharing an SDR located in Germany with somebody in the United States, and they listen to German radio communications, which here is a felony, but they're in the United States where it is legal, I guess the location of the crime would be Germany. Now, what if that American listens to communications from Great Britain through the receiver from Germany? I can imagine that getting crazy real quick. And who even reports stuff like that? Must be another German. On UHF, as someone was listening to railway comms, yeah. I mean, there's just as much to listen to here in Germany as there is in the United States, with that itty-bitty problem of it being a felony, and most people are not a fan of committing felonies. I mean, when I was young, long time ago, the police communication over here was still analog, and back then it was also a felony to listen to it, but it certainly was fun back then. It was discontinued by prosecution without any cost for me. Kind of what I would expect. Yeah, I know of similar cases, and it seems like the prosecution doesn't care a lot. They usually don't care unless you share. Once you share the communications, they start caring a lot, which is why I'm only streaming content from inside the amateur radio bands. Like, you can't get me outside of it. because sharing seems to be where the problems start. Like, if you do it, there's usually a warning, maybe a small fine that doesn't go on your record. But once you start sharing, and especially the more public, the harsher the punishment is gonna be. And it's something I'm definitely not in the mood for.
About 4 days. I believe it's 4 days. I stay 4 days in London and 2 days and about more 4 days in Rotterdam. You know, my daughter live in Rotterdam. Have a house, but you know.
Zalat says that not real a felony but a misdemeanor fits better. Yeah, it's always hard to translate between felony, misdemeanor and our Ordnungswidrigkeit and Straftat, which is exactly what I do. Well, for me, I always say misdemeanor is an Ordnungswidrigkeit and a felony is a Straftat, where I guess it would be more accurate that a Ordnungswidrigkeit... Now I forgot where I wanted to go with it. Well, yeah, of course, because the lower Straftaten would be more of a misdemeanor and the higher ones would be more like a felony, and then our Ordnungswidrigkeiten would be more like an offense, at least in the American system. But let's just settle with it is a crime. One that could get you up to, I believe it's 2 years. But yeah, Germany is weird. We have many possible crimes that you could get up to 2 years in prison for, and you get away with like a few €100 fines. It's just basically an upper end that a judge could apply if there's reason for it. Okay, we need a translator in here. No, we're not gonna decode Digimodes by ear. There's really lots of activity.
July and August, it's very hot here anyway. Very hot, anyway. Depends, but welcome, my friend.
It's only me playing around now. That's no fun. Okay, coming up to an hour of streaming, which is usually my limit as far as mental load is concerned. So if anyone has a request what band to switch to, I mean, you can just switch over to 40. Why does it look so noisy? Or 80 even? Yeah, some CW. usually always find Germans around this time of the day. So 80 is apparently still a little bit weak in some places. It is completely dark outside. I mean, that'll work, why not? Let's stick with that one for a bit. There we got a German, quite obviously. I'm almost curious if Radio Caroline on 648 kilohertz is coming in already. It always requires complete darkness between the UK and Germany. But I'm not gonna try on stream because that's gonna cause copyright issues with YouTube. So yeah, doing a live stream like this from Germany is quite fun. You have legal issues of committing crimes if you tune outside of the amateur radio bands, and you do have possible copyright issues if you browse around the broadcast bands. So quite fun. See you, Salat. And Salat says, don't forget the thumbs up. That's correct, people. Don't forget the thumbs up. Yeah, and I'm gonna hop off here too. Coming up to an hour of streaming. I'm gonna leave the nRSP-ST publicly shared for, I don't know, until I decide otherwise. Probably another, let's say, 2 hours or so. After that, it's going to be disconnected until tomorrow afternoon, and starting tomorrow afternoon, it will be made available for members of my channel only. Membership is currently 99 cents a month, totally affordable and absolutely justified in the time and effort it takes to put that in place and maintain it over time. So feel free to sign up as a channel member, and tomorrow I will post the access information. There will be a username and or multiple usernames and passwords. Or I might just change the ports. No, I can't do that because people are smart enough to use port scanner. So yes, there's going to be a username and a password. So if you're interested in getting continued access, feel free to sign up as a channel member. And like I said, now I'll keep it up for like maybe 2 hours or so. So in that time frame, feel free to play around, either through the web interface, using the link in the video description, or install SDRConnect and just set it up as a remote device. I've showed this multiple times in the stream, so if you just now joined, you can always hop back and see what the settings are. Thanks everyone for joining. If you aren't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. Give this video a thumbs up, and